Hey, what's up, people? It's a girl, Shy Roslyn. I am here. Tired. Um, Decompressing from the events of the week. Um, I'm doing just a tiny bit of work just to keep my brain exercised. You know what I mean? So, yesterday was Her Majesty's send off. It was a very nice service. Um, it was simple and elegant, which is what you would have wanted anyway. Most of my cousins came, so there was support. Wasn't a ton of people, but it was all right. It's all good. The people that needed to come, that were meant to be in attendance, were. Got a whole bunch of phone calls. I got some last night. I got some today. I'll probably get a couple more tonight. So, I am decompressing. I had a running joke over the past 2 weeks or so that my mother was waking me up at 3:30 in the morning because her estimated time of death was somewhere between 3 and 5 a.m. And so 3:30 every morning, I was just waking up. I just wake up. I'd be in a nice sleep and all of a sudden wake up. So yesterday at the funeral home, I went to the funeral home to escort the body to the service. I just felt that was something I needed to do for myself. So I went and I had a chance to, take a look at her one last time. And I said to her, I said, Mom, can you please stop waking me up at 3:30 in the morning? So last night I went to bed at my usual time, about around 10 o'clock. Someone had called me, so I was talking with them on the phone. Went to bed around 10. Y'all, I didn't roll out of bed till almost 8. I finally got a little more than a full night's sleep. I woke up because I needed to pee. So, thanks, Mom, for letting me sleep. Anyway, as I say, I'm in a state of decompressing. It wasn't that long of a day, but it was a long day. And my brother is taking it really well. He has his own program. He has his mass card. I have my program. As a matter of fact, let me show y'all real quick. The program came out really, really good. I am so happy with it. And look what they did on the inside. I mean, like one of her favorite photos, and it was the inside. It was awesome. So I'm very happy with how things turned out. And my mom's nurse practitioner came to this service. I almost didn't recognize her because she wasn't in her uniform. And as we were walking out, she walked next to me because in the Catholic Mass, the family escorts the coffin to the altar. I mean, we had pallbearers. I mean, the funeral home provided pallbearers, so, but the family is immediately behind the coffin. So same thing on the way out when when we are dismissed, we're right behind. I'm pretty much the lead, and then my cousins were behind me, walking the coffin out of the church. So the nurse practitioner came up and she grabs my arm, and we're walking out together. And she shoved the envelope in my pocketbook, and I'm like, oh, okay, it must be a card because my cousins were all shoving cards into my pocketbook. One of my neighbors came, she shoved the card into my pocketbook. So, I didn't think anything more of it. So I get home and, it's evening time. I'm like, oh yeah, let me undo my pocketbook, switch my things to my regular purse that I carry everywhere. So I'm going through the envelopes and hey, I'm looking at this little envelope and I'm like, this little tiny little envelope. And it was actually like a junk mail envelope, which I'm looking at this, I'm like, it's like one of those charity envelopes that they just anyway. So on the envelope it said, to the Brinson family from blah blah blah. So I'm looking at him going, what's she using this envelope again for? I opened the envelope. In the envelope, I'm like, she did not need to do that. And several other people that I wasn't expecting. My money in the envelopes, and I'm like, oh my Lord. So that was a shock. Cemetery wasn't bad. We could not. It wasn't safe because there was still a lot of ice on the ground where the actual gravesite is. So we couldn't do the groundbreaking and stuff. So we did like a little ceremony at the side of the road, literally the side of the road, and we said a few prayers and did our thing, and that was it. So it was a good day, all things considered. So like I said, I'm decompressing. I wasn't feeling it before, probably because of the adrenaline of getting everything done and making sure she's taken care of and getting her death certificates and all the part paperwork, part arrangement. Okay. Today, my body don't want to do nothing. I'm walking around like my shoulders they were super stiff, and there's one shoulder is still stiff. I think I'm getting frozen shoulder. But my body is like, okay, we're done now, and I have no mood to do anything. Normally Fridays I might do a little laundry, maybe clean the bathroom. My body's like, nope, you're not doing anything today. Nothing that takes any effort. I did put out the garbage, and that's about all I could do. So I'm sitting here doing just a tiny bit of work. Just so my brain is occupied for a little while, and even that I'm barely doing. Okay. So, but that's how I'm feeling. I don't feel sick or anything. My body's just like, okay, we're done now. We died. So, I did start to discard some of the flowers we received because it's been over a week and they are starting to go. So I'm kind of moving things out and figuring out the next steps in this whole process. So, that might become a new series, y'all. Anyway, I'm rambling, but the reason I'm doing this is, well, I wanted to let everyone know that yesterday went well, and I appreciate all the good karma and the condolences and the prayers, and I trust me, it made a big difference. So that's first of all. Second, I listened to Now, I have to be careful how I do this, because I don't want to upset the content creator. I don't think they would be upset if I... You'll realize when I say what I say. I don't think they'll be upset about what I'm going to talk about. I listened to a members only. Part of it was last night, but I fell asleep. So I listened to the rest of it a little while ago. Just while I'm putzing about, I'm listening. And one of the topics that came up was people having life insurance and being prepared and making sure their family is prepared, and some other personal economic stuff. But it set off my antenna, because this is something that I know I've said it before on my channel, but I'm going to say it again. If you have life insurance, groovy, awesome. Life insurance is good for those who are your beneficiaries, so that they can take care of whatever final expenses need, or at least be reimbursed for your final expenses. Because I know some insurance companies take longer than others to pay things out. And that depends on the insurance company and the state you are living in. So this is not legal advice at all. I am speaking strictly from experience. So, if you have life insurance, groovy, copacetic, good, awesome. You can get life insurance policies as low as $10,000 just so you have something to pay for a funeral or a cremation. You can get life insurance policies as much as $1 million to pay off your house so that your family doesn't have to sell it and move out. Okay. But you should have something. Now, here's the other thing. During the discussion, it was brought up that some people aren't working a traditional job and they may not have life insurance, because some companies do offer life insurance as well. I had one at one time with a company I was working with. Wasn't a whole lot, but it was a benefit of being at the job. So, of course I took advantage of it. And so, and the fact that people are doing GoFundMes to pay for their loved one's funeral, that sort of thing. Okay. Now, there is another option. And I speak from experience because my mom did it. And it made a huge difference. There is an option, and it depends on the state that you live in. So we are in New York, so we have that option. I don't know about outside of New York. I'm not sure. Look it up for yourself. Google, in this case, Google is your friend. There is something called pre-plan. Can go whichever name they use. What you do is, you or your loved one, you have a contract with the funeral home. Go to the funeral home, pick out what you want. And that's what my mom did. I talked about this in a previous video. My mom had gone to the funeral home that she liked, and and she and the man that owned the funeral home, they got along great, so she wanted to use him. And as I said, the man passed away, got bought out. The funeral home got bought out by another funeral home, but they honored mommy's contract. Okay. So, what you do is pick a funeral home that you like. Go, maybe it was a funeral home, your homie or your girlfriend had their wake there, or a viewing there, saying, oh, this is nice. This funeral home is nice. Sign up with them. Go there, make an appointment, go sit down, pick out what you want. Pick out your coffin, pick out your flowers, coffin, flowers, You can even pick out the thank you cards. So you just pick out what you want to do. Have a contract with the with the funeral home. They're gonna ask you for a deposit. Sometimes it's a couple of $100. Sometimes it's $1,000. It depends on the funeral home. Put down the deposit, and then you get something that's called pre-plan, and you get statements in the mail. It is similar to an escrow account. You cannot touch it. Once you start putting money, you can't touch it. The funeral home cannot touch it until you're passing. So you get interest from it. It wasn't a whole lot of interest, but you get interest from it. It is literally a savings account. And you just keep putting money in it. If you put like $200 a month in there. My mom was putting in, she was depositing like $300-$400 a month at a clip, and she did this for years. She was just putting money in. And what happened now, you have the option, once you reach the amount that you have the contract with the funeral home with, because they give you like an estimate total and whatnot. Once you reach that point, you can stop. You can stop putting money in, and you just gain interest from it. Because like I said, you can't touch it. Funeral home can't touch it until you die. And the funds go straight to the funeral home. So you can do that. You can keep putting money in up until you have what covers the contract. Mommy put in a lot more. She went over what she had originally contracted with. She kept putting money in until I think it was like maybe like 2003 or something. A couple of years. She just kept putting money in. So what happened for us, when the time came, I had to go to the funeral home, and I've mentioned this before. What mommy put into that pre-plan account covered 85% of her expenses. Now, you have to adjust, some of the things that she picked out, they no longer had available because she set up her contract in 1998. So it's been a few years. And so certain things had to be adjusted. Some of the things, the substitutes were close in price to what she had originally contracted for. So we ended up with a little overage, and there is an amount that I have to, I had to pay something out of pocket. And one of my family members is kind enough to say they were going to kick in the rest and just take care of the balance that remains. And it wasn't a whole lot. If mommy hadn't done that, we would have been screwed. Because she did not have a life insurance policy. She had one for years. And what had happened with her life insurance policy, the premiums, her dividends. She was basically outliving the policy. The dividends were not enough to cover the payments, because she had quarterly payments, and her dividends were covering it for a while. But then after a while, the dividends, she wasn't getting enough dividends to really cover anything, and they increased the amount of her installments. It just went up. I think she hit 75, and it like out of nowhere. So she's basically losing money by having a life insurance policy. So she cashed it out, said to hell with it, and she went and did the pre-plan instead. Because basically the life insurance was basically for her funeral expenses anyway. So I say all that to say that look into it. There are alternatives to having the life insurance, unless you have a house and you got to pay off the mortgage and you want something to help your family stay in the home. Then get that life insurance policy. Go get it. It's the more savings, the more stuff you have, the better. But if you just, if your family is relatively stable, like ours was, and house is paid for, you just have to figure out the, property taxes every couple of months and utilities, and you really don't have a whole lot else going on, and you just want something to cover your final expenses, pre-plan could be an option. Like I said, think of it this way. It's layaway for your funeral. You're putting your funeral on layaway. Like the Christmas Club, and those of you of a certain age, remember what the Christmas Club was? You went to you got the coupon book, and you put so much in the Christmas Club account every month, and then come Christmas, you had that money, and you just go spend it. Just like that. So it makes a huge difference. If you can't do anything else other than at least consider if it's available in your state, do the pre-plan, man. It made things so much easier. I went to I brought a copy of the contract to the funeral home. They sat down, we made whatever little changes we needed to make, and I still had to put a little money in. So I put a little money in, and I signed on the dotted line, and that was it. I was done with the funeral home in like 30 minutes. It took such a stress off. And my mother was a planner. She planned everything. Before she retired, she said, okay, I'm going to do this, and this, and you coming with me. There no options. No options. I'm going to the attorney. We're going to do my will. You're going to have to be POA because my brother can't. You're going to have to be POA. I'm going to put you in the will, so you're going to be in charge of everything when I'm gone. And then when the time, so that was that. That was that. She put my name on the account that we have for my brother's disability and Social Security payments. She was hesitant, don't know why, but my aunt said to her, "You better put Rosie's name on that, because if something happens to you, Eddie's gonna get messed up." So she put my name on that particular account. Thank God she did. So so my brother's good. The house is good. She put my name on the house. She said nothing's gonna happen to the house because my name is on it. Nobody can come and claim it because I'm still here. Yay. So at this point, all I have to do is just follow the paperwork. At some point, I have to go and file what needs to be filed regarding her will. She did not have a trust. Trusts were not a big thing back then when my mom was doing her stuff. So she did the will and the power of attorney. And she added my name to the bank account. But that's about all she did. And back then, trusts were not a big thing back then. But everybody was supposed to have at least a will. If you don't have nothing else, have a will. So she took care of that. And it's a good thing she did. So now the next chapter begins. Because now it's legal paperwork. Her bank has already frozen her checking account. Fine. Social Security already took her money back. I found out if the person is on Social Security and they pass away at the end of the month, even if it's the 30th or the 31st of the month, and they pass, they will, and if for some reason they tried to deposit her benefit, as soon as the death is reported, Social Security will take that money back. Now, if mommy had made it to February 1st or February 2nd, she would get her January check. and it would still be sitting in her bank account. That's how that works, by the way. And you can look that up too. Go to Social Security Administration, check on that. But yourselves. But yeah, that's what happens. And I kind of had a feeling, I anticipated it happening, so I wasn't surprised when I looked to check in her bank account and I saw that they, it came in and it went right back out. So, I had already changed my brother's my brother's representative payee from her to me. I did that a few months ago. Thank God I did. So we don't have to worry about that. Everything with him, I've got it. He's good. So, like I said, the next chapter begins. Now it's whatever legal stuff I have to do. I have to submit her will to the court, probate court. That's going to take a while. I'm not worried about that because I'm the only one. I'm listed as the executor and the inheritor. So I'm going to be handling whatever needs to be handled for her. Yeah. So I just that's another attorney fee that I'm probably going to have to pay because I really don't feel like filling out all that paperwork. I'm just going to ask the attorney, can you just fill it out, let me sign it because I can't. And yeah, just little, I know at some point I'm going to be shutting off we have a house phone. And it was under her, so at some point I'm probably going to shut that off. And I'm going to have to start switching the utility bills. Are probably going to get switched to me at some point. As far as I understand, that's not a rush, but it will eventually get switched over. And some other little things that I'm going to have to file and whatnot. But I don't anticipate any issues. I just have to take my time. The hardest part about this new journey, and I'll talk about this one again when the time comes. It's going to be a new series, y'all. I will have to start cleaning out my mother's bedroom. That is going to be difficult. Emotionally and otherwise. My mom, again, she had things organized. So, and she told me several times before she started getting sick, she told me several times what she wanted to be buried in. What was to be offered to whom. Some of those people have passed before her, so they're going to end up getting donated. But there are things that I'm going to keep, and a lot of her clothing is going to end up getting donated because I can't wear anything because she was this little petite thing. And obviously I'm not little and petite, so I'm not going to be able to wear anything except her scarves and hats. So I'm definitely going to keep her scarves and hats. I can wear those. And personal items I'm going to have to try and go through. So that's going to be hard. But I'm going to bring in professionals. I'm going to bring in my guy that does the haul away for me. Take her bed. Her bed's going to be the first thing out. That poor bed. Oh, that bed. That bed's beat up. I'm surprised the bed lasted as long as it did. So the bed's going to be the first thing out. And then I am going to bring in a professional to just bag up and help sort out things to be, like I said, most of the stuff mommy already had that it's going to get donated, but there are a few things that I'm going to keep. And then once that's done, remove her dresser, her mirror, her chest of drawers. I'll probably keep the bedside tables, but the bulk of the furniture is going to go too. And then a deep clean. Carpet, walls. I'm going to change the curtains. I mean, we deep clean. So I'm going to bring in professionals for that. And yeah, then I'll have to do the same with her workroom that's on the first floor, her sewing room. I'm going to have to, it doesn't necessarily need a deep clean, but she had a lot of material, things that she was making and never got to finish. So that has to be sorted out. Material for people that have passed on or moved away. So some of that's going to end up getting, I don't know if it's all going to get donated. I might keep some of the material. Maybe I'll try and use her sewing machine. Things like that. So that's a whole other part of the next chapter of this. And that's going to take time. But today is this decompression day. And this weekend is definitely decompression time. But, yeah. That's the next chapter. But if you guys can, like I said, try and organize your life a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. I mean, worst case scenario. Just write down what you want. Write it down. Put it in a binder. Put it in a book. I've got binders for my mom. I got binders for my brother. Put it in a binder. Put it in a book. Write down what you want. Or do a video. Just getting like I'm doing right now. Just sit in front of your camera and go, listen, this is where this is. This is where that is. This is where that is. And this is what I want. Just something so the people that you leave behind have at least some idea what you want. And if they have to figure it out, then they have to figure it out. And if you can pull a little something away, even if you have like a one of those whatchamacallit boxes, like one of those petty cash boxes, put some petty cash in the petty cash box. Something. At least something can get paid for. So, yeah, so that's my story. I'm sticking to it. And, at some point, I'll catch y'all in the next one. I still don't know when I'm going to do beating chat yet. I might do some beating over the weekend, so maybe I'll come back on. I'll actually be live, maybe. We'll see how I'm feeling over the weekend. But that's my story. I'm sticking to it. And likes are free. Sharing is caring. Subscribers are always appreciated. And yeah, man. Questions, comments, throw them in there. Because I would love to see what people are thinking. And I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.